Howdy folks, and welcome to Plushie-mania 2023. Hey everyone, welcome into the channel. If you're new here, my name is Andrew, and along with my wife Jessica, we run a full-time online reselling business named 5 Little Ducks Resale. In this video series, we go to places like garage sales, thrift stores, and estate sales. We find items for cheap, and then we flip those items online for a profit on sites like Facebook, Mercari, Poshmark, and of course, eBay. The last number of videos have been quite similar in the sense that we do a haul from the previous week's finds, and then we go through some things that have sold out of our various stores. So this week won't really be any different, and as I alluded to in the opener, we went to an estate sale this past weekend, and we picked up a ton of plushies. So check that out. Okay, look at all this stuff. This is a weekend's worth of thrifting. We got a lot to walk through here, so let's dive right in. So we went to an estate sale, and it was the second weekend of an estate sale. It was a 75% off day, so we picked up all of these plushies. We couldn't pass them up. They were actually less than $1 per piece, especially when we factored everything else that we got there. A lot of the stuff is vintage Disney store. Vintage Precious Moments Tender Tales, and a couple of puffkins here that we saw. Definitely is a lot of work to list these. Some of these might be long tail, but we did look up a lot of the Precious Moments ones. We kind of cherry picked those. Basically just grabbed whatever the Disney ones that they had left. But for such a small buy cost, we couldn't really pass it up. And plushies are fun to list, and they sell pretty well. So. Also at that sale, we had some more vintage women's hankies. The last lot that I found did end up selling already. And these ones were pretty neat. These ones had embroidery on them. And then these ones over here were just the flower print. And of course, with the other Disney stuff, this is a salt shaker. Picked it up for $1.50. Of course, I cost average everything out. So again, everything was probably less than $1. But yeah, super nice. Probably came with a pair, but didn't have the other one. But yeah, a lot of work ahead of us with that pile. At another garage sale, found these cool things here. Looks to be like a reproduction Fabergé egg. It doesn't have a stand on it. But what got me was not only the quality, it really looks well made, but it's very heavy for its size. Like it's much heavier than what you would think it would be. And it does open up. It's magnetic, and it's just a trinket box, but it's cool. I don't know. It's kind of neat. Found this also at the same sale, and when I looked it up after the fact, I saw some retail sites listing this and the egg together, but I think I'm going to sell them separately. But this is also, if I can do it one-handed, I did it before, there we go. It's also a trinket box, and it's also magnetic, but super cool. Same kind of material, it's like metal and enamel paint, but really neat. And of course, with Halloween coming up, I couldn't pass these up. Some cool skull bead bracelets. These are wooden, and this is more like a stone material, but they're really kind of cool. So who knows? At another sale, picked up some sealed boxes of baseball cards. I paid $8 a piece. He originally wanted $10 a piece, but I offered $40 for all 5, and so he accepted. I looked them all up when I was there briefly, and some of these, or at least one of these, did really well, probably in the $50 range, maybe, hopefully, if I looked at it right. Some of them maybe $20, but even still, I think it'll be a good flip once they all sell. Definitely out of my wheelhouse. I am not familiar in any way, shape, or form with cards. If they're sealed, if they're new, that's a lot better in my mind than individual loose cards. I would be completely lost. It's an area where there's definitely money to be made, but I don't know anything about it. So took a chance on those, and we'll see how those come out. And then today we went to a couple of Goodwill stores, and we have a couple of bags off camera here of some clothes, which I won't show. But this was the main thing that I wanted to feature. This huge, heavy bin of more flatware. And the reason why I picked it up, I know there's some modern stuff in here, paid $10 for it all, but there was a pattern in here where I was able to flip it over and read the name of the manufacturer. I did a quick lookup while I was at the store, and comps seemed really good just for that pattern. So I figured I would take a chance on the whole lot. These are mainly stainless, so I won't have to do any cleaning. It's just identifying the pattern. So definitely more work involved with that, but I think it'll be fun. Flatware is kind of becoming kind of a fun thing to do for me, but that's about it. I mean, we went through this quick, but there was a lot of stuff here. That plushie pile is just mammoth. And it's a couple of characters deep here. Like you're only seeing kind of like the top level there. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Of course, watch for some of this stuff and some future What Solds video. And speaking of What Solds, let's go ahead and do that right now. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, let's go ahead and run through some sales from our various stores. The dates in question for these sales are from August 14 through August 21. And as always, we do start with our eBay store since that's the most plentiful. And we'll start off with a Gina consignment sale. This was the vintage men's size large, dark green sweatshirt with a Premier Sportswear tag, and it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. For those of you who are wondering what a Gina sale is, Gina is a family friend, and she gave us probably about 30 bins of items that she bought on auction that we're consigning with her. So anytime that there's a Gina sale, I just point that out. The next item up was this Leapfrog, my first spelling bee preschool picture and word flashcard set, which was new and sealed, and this sold for $7.99 plus shipping. This next item was a really cool find. This was purchased at an estate sale for probably about $5. This was a vintage Airtex Continental Airlines black faux leather carry-on bag, and it ended up selling for $34.99 plus shipping. This next item was featured in one of our recent garage sale hauls. This was purchased along that lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. And again, this was the ones that had the cards that were really bad. But this was the Kenner Star Wars Power of the Force. This was the Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot figure. And I ended up selling him for $2.99 plus shipping. The next item up was this pair of BKE women's size 33 Sabrina mid-rise cropped jeans, and these sold for $17.99 plus shipping. Following that was another one of our Transformer figures. This was Rat Trap, and he sold for $9.99 plus shipping. We purchased all of these Transformers at a closeout store that focused mainly on buying closeouts from other stores. So this was kind of a third or fourth hand pickup, but we bought these in quantity. I think we bought this one, Optimus Prime, and one other one, and we had probably 20 to 30 of each. This next item has a nice story attached to it as well. So this sale actually came from our friend Larry, with whom we have another consignment deal set up. This particular item came from his mother-in-law, and this was a vintage 1920s Beckley Ralston Company radio and electronic supply mail order catalog. I had this listed pretty high in the store because I really wasn't sure of the value. There weren't a whole lot like them listed on eBay. So I had the price probably close to $50, and it had been listed for quite some time. A buyer had reached out and offered $35, so I accepted that, and so this went out the door for $35 on a best offer plus shipping. Of course, it's not every day that you get to sell a vintage 1920s mail order catalog featuring radio parts, so you never know what you're going to sell on eBay for sure. The next item up was this Jones, New York signature petite ladies pink wool blend tweed blazer, and it sold for a best offer of $25 free shipping. Up next was this Patagonia men's size XL yellow plaid shirt, which sold for $29.99 plus shipping. This next item was completely wiped clean of our inventory by one customer. She came in and bought 3 of the remaining stock. This was a discontinued Scentsy called Sunlit Morning, and so all 3 went out the door for $17.97 plus shipping. it's definitely the season for people to start buying Christmas ornaments because this item did in fact sell. This was a 2016 new in package Hallmark Christmas ornament featuring the movie Finding Dory, and it was the magic sound and voice model. And this ornament sold for $13.99 plus shipping. Up next was another Transformer, and again it was another Rat Trap from the War for Cybertron Kingdom series. Again, went out the door, $9.99 plus shipping. This next item was purchased amongst a larger Thomas & Friends playset. There was a number of trains included with some tracks and a couple of playhouses, and I sold most of that stuff together as one playset, but there were a number of trains left over that were duplicates, which I ended up selling individually. And this item was one of those individual trains. This was the Thomas & Friends Thomas with Snowplow from the Take and Play die-cast magnet series, and this ended up selling for $4.99 plus shipping. If you're willing to take a chance and let these things sit in your store for a while, they should eventually sell. This was a set of Lego manuals. This was a 2017 Lego Minecraft set, and the set was called the Ice Spikes. These were the instruction manuals only, and they had both books 1 and 2, and they sold for $3.99 plus shipping. The next two items that sold were also Gina items. The first one was this new Blackmore Home large 11-inch durable aluminum frying pan, which sold for $14.99 plus shipping. And then next was the Garanimals Boys size 6 green camouflage rickrack shorts, which sold for $6.99 plus shipping. The next item was this Nickelodeon Rugrats t-shirt. It was a woman's large multicolored tie-dye graphic tee from 2020, and it sold for $7.99 plus shipping. The next item up was this pair of Democracy denim shorts. These were women's size 12, Bermuda mid-rise stretch denim shorts, which sold for $19.99 plus shipping. The next item was from that bulk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle buy a few videos back. This was the TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Shell Submarine from 2003. It wasn't complete. There were a few pieces missing, but still I sold it for $9.99 plus shipping. This next item was from a bulk Hello Kitty buy that I did at a garage sale this past summer. This was a Sanrio Hello Kitty girls size medium white full zip hoodie, and it had some ears and a bow on it, and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. The next item was this new in package 31 everything crossbody burgundy nylon purse, which ended up selling for $24.99 plus shipping. This next item was picked up at a garage sale for probably about a quarter. This was a Tudor Mint collectible pewter egg. It was number 1063, and it was named the Powerful Dragon. And this ended up selling for $32.89 on a best offer plus shipping. Following that, we had this new in package Max Factor Lasting Color Lipstick 3-pack of Midnight Mahogany, and this sold for $14.99 free shipping. This next sale was actually kind of a surprise because when I listed it, I noticed that there was just a ton of other listings identical to mine, and there were very few sold. So the sell-through rate was very low. So I expected it to sit in the store for a long time, but it actually sold. This was the Vintage Texas Flowerscaper Seasonal Guide to Bloom Height, Color, and Texture, and it sold for $7.99 plus shipping. The next item was this vintage 1970s solid brass Lee Jeans clothing logo thin oval belt buckle, and it sold for $16.99 plus shipping. And the last item to sell from our eBay store during this time period was a set of Stampin' Up! Stamps. This was the Doodle That set of 4 wood mount rubber stamps, and these together sold for $5.99 plus shipping. So during this time period, both Mercari and Poshmark both had great sales. So let's go with the Mercari store next. And up first in Mercari was this pair of Saucony women's size 8 Excursion TR10 athletic running shoes. And these sold for $17 plus shipping. Next up was this new Disney Parks Magic Kingdom 3D embossed mug. And it sold for $12 plus shipping. And this next item that sold definitely has a story around it. This was the special edition 2002 holiday celebration Barbie. New in box, never removed from box. Sold on a best offer of $21 plus shipping. So the way that Mercari works is that after a certain amount of time, if the buyer doesn't rate you, the funds from the sale automatically get deposited into your account. So I received notification that I was paid for this particular lot. And the next day, the buyer reached out and said, "Hey, I haven't gotten my item." I checked the tracking number, and of course it was going through UPS, and so they have a feature where the driver will take a snapshot of where the package is delivered, and I was able to describe in detail by looking at the picture that the package in fact was delivered, and it was by this particular floor mat, and for her to check. Well, a day later, she reaches back out and says, "Oh, well, that's the reason why, because that's not the doll that I ordered." Crap. So, as it turns out, I actually sent the wrong Barbie. I had reached for a red Barbie, which is the one pictured here, but it wasn't the right red Barbie. So, my mistake, of course. I wanted to make it right. I pulled the correct red Barbie and sent it along. Now, I didn't ever hear back from the buyer. Presumably, it was delivered, and I, of course, sent it on my dime, so hopefully it was delivered. But lesson learned, slow down if you have more than one red Barbie. Okay, up next, another Christmas ornament. This was from 2009, and it was the Merry Christmas keepsake ornament, and it sold for $7 best offer plus shipping. And this next item has another infuriating story around it. This was a 2014 Flyp 7-inch collectible alligator or crocodile figure with a movable jaw, and it sold for a measly $5 free ship. Now, normally with an item this low priced, I wouldn't have normally included free shipping, but I use a cross-listing tool named Flyp, and Flyp is great. No qualms with Flyp because it's free, right? I don't have to pay for it. However, there are bugs from time to time. And one of the bugs specifically was that this was actually putting free shipping on its listings when going into Mercari. This was noted by a number of people on their support board at the time, and I didn't catch it. So, again, my mistake. I should have caught it, so I ended up selling this definitely at a loss. The good news was that we only paid 50 cents for it. The next Mercari item was this vintage 1999 Thai Beanie Babies named Flitter, the pink and purple butterfly, and it ended up selling for $5 plus shipping. Whenever I see Five Nights at Freddy's plush, I always pick them up. This was a Five Nights at Freddy's plush. It was the blue teddy bear in the spring colorway, I guess, and he sold for $10 plus shipping. And the last two items that sold from Mercari were actually a bundle deal. It was a set of two vintage USA themed belt buckles, and together they sold for $42 on a best offer plus shipping. And last but not least, we go through Poshmark sales. Now, Poshmark for the last couple of videos has just been paltry. There's been like one sale for each of the last videos. However, we have 5 sales, so picking up. The first item was this new era Tennessee Titans football adjustable strap back hat, which sold for $12 plus shipping. Following that was this vintage Ricker Bartlett pewter mini boy figurine, which ended up selling for $6 on a best offer, also plus shipping. The next item up was this Timex Ironman triathlon watch, which sold for $20 on a best offer, plus shipping. I believe this next item was referenced in the haul section of today's video. This was the sale I was talking about. This was the set of 3 vintage women's handkerchiefs that I picked up at the Goodwill bins, and these ended up selling for $10 plus shipping. And the last sale of today's video is this cute snowman with Santa hat, upside down coffee mug, and it sold on Poshmark for $10 plus shipping. Well, guys, we've reached the end of yet another video. I hope that you enjoy this kind of content. If you do, go ahead and click the like button on either Rumble or YouTube. That really helps us out a great deal. And if you feel moved to do so, if you want to be notified once new videos pop up, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, or the follow button if you are on Rumble. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and we will catch you on the next one.